Well, let's kickstart market Fatafat. Remember, the show is, of course, all about flagging off the individual movers and shakers in trade today. And on the technicals, we have with us Himen Kapari of KR Chokshi Securities and Vikas Jain of Reliance Securities. Good morning to you, gentlemen. From our research team, we are joined by Varun and Soumya. Okay, let's kickstart the show with some news that we have received just this morning, and that is with respect to Airtel. Turns out that the Kenyan government has actually suspended the proposed merger with respect to Airtel and Telecom. Telecom, of course, is the Kenyan company. The news had come in Feb 2019 that Bharti Airtel's unit wants to merge with Telecom, and it was in talks to buy the company to create a stronger challenge to the Kenyan market leader, that's Safaricom. However, for now, it looks like the government is sort of throwing a spanner in the works. They've suspended this deal over a certain probe, and the stock, of course, has seen a sharp fall post that news. It's at the day's low, 3.5% lower. Himen, let's talk about Kotak Bank. That's the next stock we want to flag off, because while most of the banking stocks are doing pretty okay in trade, this one is a bit sluggish, slipped below 1500. Your view here?
A very good morning to you, Mobina. Thank you for having me. Kotak have been moving sideways in a trading range, Mobina, between 1440 and 1547 for almost 15 weeks. I mean, currently there isn't any directional bias. A breakdown below the lower level would mean distribution and a downside. A breakout above the level trading range would mean consolidation and a further upside. So we'll have to wait for a breakout on either side to decide where it wants to go. It remains in a longer term uptrend though, Mobina.
Remains in a longer term uptrend. That's Himen's view on Kotak. Soumya, UPL, today it's seeing a nice uptick on account of JP Morgan's optimistic note.
Well, yes, they have initiated coverage with an overweight stance on a target price of 700 rupees per share. They believe that the recent acquisition has built to UPL's core strength, and they also see UPL outperforming, which will be driven mainly by earnings execution. Also, they add that they expect 13% pro forma EBITDA growth over FY 20 to 21. So clearly, this is a really positive note, and this initiation is definitely keeping the stock higher by over 3.5%.
Yeah, 569 for UPL. Vikas, Nifty PSU Bank, it's the third straight day that we are seeing this index rally. Do you think there's more room for an up move for some of these PSU banking names?
Yeah, there will be more, because if you look at the correction was also really very sharp from 2300 levels to 2320. And we believe the PSU index bottom has seen a good amount of bounce back on the back of positive news flow, what I've been doing around over the last 2 days. So some more up move can be possible. Some amount of resistance is near to 2630, 2650 levels. If that is being crossed, then we are headed to 2800 levels.
All right, that is Nifty PSU Bank, 3% higher. But another stock we have on our radar is Interglobe Aviation, or Indigo. The AGM is today, and there'll be lots on the agenda, especially with respect to amending the Articles of Association and the battle between the two promoters. We have Parisha, who's tracking the Indigo AGM. Parisha.
Indigo Airlines, which has been in news for all the wrong reasons over the last few months, is holding its AGM here in Delhi today, and the company will want to use this AGM as a medium to restore confidence among its shareholders. Remember, Indigo promoters Rahul Bhatia and Rakesh Gangwal have things going wrong between them after Gangwal claimed that the company lacked proper governance, and things were not managed in the right way at Indigo Airlines. So although Gangwal is likely to miss this AGM today, Rahul Bhatia will be present in the AGM, and he will like to use this opportunity to ensure shareholders that things are fine, there are no issues related to governance or transactions in the company. Other than that, the board may also decide on extending the term for a company's chairman for board M. Damodaran for another 5 years. The company is also likely to expand its board to 10 members, including 4 independent members. Although a few days back, rumors surfaced that Rakesh Gangwal may also oppose this decision. Now we are picking up that apparently a truce has been reached between the two promoters for time being, and Gangwal may also support this expansion. So this is the update. This is the likelihood from the AGM as it is currently underway. We will keep bringing you more updates as and when we get it.
Okay, Parisha, thanks a lot for that. Indigo, ahead of the AGM is absolutely flat. Let's continue with the countdown and talk about another stock on our radar, and that's Jet Airways. Yesterday, of course, it had the third COC meeting, and it looks like there are some more names that seem to be interested, in Jet. Of course, for now, we have absolutely no indication of who it might be, or rather, by when will we be able to get a confirmed list of all the people who've submitted the EOIs. But yeah, Varun, what's the newest name that's taking the rounds?
Lenders have increased the time span for disclosure for interest in Jet till the 31st of this month. We have reports that Synergy from South America, which is a big airline player in South America, has submitted the latest EOI. Now, all of these are positive, but they're immaterial and they don't necessarily mean that there's going to be a deal. We saw this happen with Vedanta and Anil Agarwal earlier on in the quarter. Didn't seem to materialize. So, it's definitely a positive, but nothing to get excited about just yet.
But for now, the stock is, high by 5%. But, Jet Airways has been that stock that's either been locked in upper or lower circuit. Volumes as well seem to be pretty limited. BHEL, take a look at this stock meantime. It's a nice 6% rise that you are seeing in the counter. HSBC has actually upgraded the stock. They believe that there is some strength in the balance sheet. Valuations are as well attractive. However, they have cut their target price, I think, by just 60 rupees. The fact that they are diversing into other business areas is something that HSBC has flagged off. Furthermore, they also say the company is increasing its thermal power capacity. Stock price, in fact, was gaining 8% at a point. It ebbed off a bit from the day's high, but strong gain seen in the cap goods major. And interesting to note that all the other cap goods names as well are gaining, I suppose, in hope of the fact that the government will now use that RBI bonanza for capital expenditure in the country. Britannia, yes, it was a big loser, fell to a multi-year low, but for the last 4-5 sessions, we're seeing a smart bounce. Do you think this could continue?
Frankly, Mubina, it's looked like a dead cat bounce as of now. I mean, if it's going to move 15% in 5 days, I don't think it can be a bull market. It has to be a corrective bounce. We are facing stronger headwinds on the longer term chart, so I wouldn't be so sanguine. I take it as a recovery. I'd book partial profit.
Okay, it looks like a dead cat bounce. Use this bounce to sort of book partial profits if any of you do have holdings in Britannia. Petronet LNG, yet another brokerage note on this one, Soumya.
Now, along with the UPL, we even have Petronet LNG that's definitely buzzing in trade on back of JP Morgan note. Well, they've upgraded the stock to overweight stance from an underweight one. And in fact, they say that competition worries in Petronet are overdone, and it's a rare combination of earnings and cash flow visibility. So this definitely is a very positive note when it comes to Petronet LNG, and also seeing the stock price react high by over 4% today.
Yeah, Petronet is gaining very smartly. JP Morgan's note, the key trigger. Quick look at the RWI small case, see what it's up to right now, along with the rest of the market. Is this one too continuing with that bout of recovery? Remember, yesterday was roughly at 515. Now it's 520. It was, in fact, at 518. And now it's, I think, looking at a level of more than 520, 0.25% higher, in line with what the benchmark indices seem to be doing. Okay, let's move on and talk about another stock, and that's L&T, because this too is a counter that had seen significant selling pressure come by. However, today, nice bounce seen in the stock. Would you make much of this?
Yeah, if you look at the structure, the stock has bounced from its 34-month average. Usually in the past, also it has bounced pretty sharply. So we have seen twin amount of move in the past few days from those 1265 to 80 odd levels. On the higher side, now 1390 is a 200-day average, so some amount of resistance can be here. One should put some partial profits and wait for some decline to enter.
Okay, that is L&T, 1367 for now on the stock. And Varun, HDFC, AMC, it looks like every other day we do see at least one stock from the HDFC stable doing something, posting a lot of pricing action in the market.
Yeah, Mubina, as you said, so this stock tends to stick to its 52-week high or lifetime high. Today, it broke its lifetime high and went to 2379 earlier in trade. Brilliant numbers for the first quarter. We expect that to carry into Q2 as well. Now, the key trigger or reason for this improvement is the SEBI's new regulations on upfront payment to distributors, which has been stopped. So commissions have been capped overall. So margins have actually expanded, and in a period where competition has intensified, only the best brands do well, and this is one of them. So HDFC AMC has done really well. and should continue to do so.
All right, 5.4% higher, and this stock is at a lifetime high, among the few of them that are at a lifetime high. But what's really not doing well is future retail. After that brief pause that the stock took yesterday from the losing streak, today once again it's back to its losing ways, and it continues its decline. With this level of 392, the stock is at the lowest level in 3 weeks. Remember, the fact that Amazon seems to be pumping money into this counter, partially at least, and partially buying stocks from the promoter, not doing much for the stock. Future supply, in turn, like Varun had flagged off yesterday, is still seeing better momentum, but not future retail. 392 for this one. The losing streak continues. Hemane, after posting a stellar rally and after being at multi-week highs, or rather one-year highs, Infosys is a bit weak. Anything that you would recommend here?
Frankly speaking, Mubina, if you have a shorter term view, I think it's a sell. Because I wouldn't say short, but exit, because we're tired, it's overbought. We've seen some crossover sales coming in by some of the mechanical indicators. We remain in a longer term uptrend, though. In the last week itself, we have posted a fresh all-time high. The long-term outlook is a very clear hold. If it's a very short-term outlook, it's an exit.
All right, Infosys 2.4% lower, and that is Hemane's recommendation. Quick break on Market Fatafat. Come right back as we'll continue, flagging off all the movers and shakers. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now let's continue with the countdown and talk about yet another brokerage recommendation. Samya, CCD. Interesting to know that after everything, Morgan Stanley still seems to be positive.
Well, yes, although they are positive, they've maintained their overweight stance, but they've cut the target price significantly from 325 to 140 rupees per share. Well, definitely after this recent series of events, we saw the stock correcting quite much, and right now also Morgan Stanley is adding that potential asset sale is to unlock value, which would drive the stock, and also they are seeing a favorable risk-reward return after the recent correction, and we're seeing the stock reacting also, gaining by over 5%.
Okay, locked in upper circuit, CCD. Vikas, Coromandel International. Today you're seeing a rise in the stock. It's 1.3% high. It's at the day's high, in fact. So the momentum has only increased since morning. Anything that you're observing?
Yeah, if you look at the stock, has just done not anything great. It has moved along with the broader markets, but the increase 75 to 390 is in multiple resistances. So we believe one should wait for some decline to enter near to 355, 360 or levels.
All right, 1.3% higher, and that's Vikas's observation. Okay, Varun, this morning you flagged off certain insider trading concerns with respect to RBL. What are you observing? What's the story over there?
Right, so RBL executives have been pulled up for insider trading. Top executives sold RBL stock the day after VG's disappearance. Now, this could be a genuine concern, but seems like too big of a coincidence. Highly irregular. Why were top guys like Vice President of the bank, Head of Compliance, Head of Institutional, Head of SME, all these guys sold stock the day after he disappeared? So, the stock tanked 12% the next day. So obviously there's been an inquiry. We don't want to speculate as to what really happened, but definitely something we don't see too often from a bank like RBL.
Okay, 2% gone. And by the way, if you look at the intraday chart, you notice that the selling has actually kicked in the last couple of minutes in trade. It's dropped to the day's low after gaining for the most part of the trading session so far. A big fall seen just in the last couple of minutes. It's at the day's low. Okay, let's talk about another stock that is catching eyeballs, and that is Trent. CLSA has actually got a brokerage note on this one. Remember, Trent, of course, has been one of those few stocks yet again that has been at a lifetime high. And what they're talking about is, of course, that news with respect to the fund infusion by the promoters. They're doing so via preferential issue, and this means that Westside is on an aggressive expansion trajectory. When they're also pitching it against Zara, actually, which they believe remains a financial investment and where growth is tapering off. However, they do say that the valuations are still a little expensive. Nevertheless, and of course, it's one of the most expensive retail stocks. But yeah, they're pretty impressed, and they're flagging off the expansion trajectory that Trent is putting itself on with this preferential share issue. Hemain Axis Bank, again from the banking space, this one too is seeing a nice uptick. What are you watching out for here?
We've given a breakout of sorts, Mubina. We were in a trading range. Now we've given a breakout. The range was between 642 to 680. I believe there's a mild overbought situation on the intraday chart. A small cool-off cannot be ruled out. So I would say it's a clear hold or a buy on decline. And a further upside, probably till 715, cannot be ruled out. But I would prefer to keep a closing stop loss at 680.
Okay, 0.25% higher now. Axis Bank has given up most of the gains it was seeing earlier. Soumya, Strides Pharma, big crack seen in that stock.
Well, yes, definitely. Well, this is after NSE is excluding the F&O contracts of Strides Pharma from November 1, and this is expected because they did not meet the enhanced eligibility criteria to remain in the derivatives segment. So this information clearly is not very positive when it comes to Strides Pharma, and clearly we're seeing the selling pressure continuing in the stock.
Okay, that is Strides for you, 3% lower. Vikas, Piramal, the rise that we saw yesterday continuing today as well. What are you observing?
Yes, mood is positive and the momentum is too. We believe Piramal Enterprises has bounced from its 2 weekly doji candles and given an upward breakout. We believe the positive momentum could see further gains and can extend further to 2050 to 2100 levels. The positive uptick could continue over the next few days.
Okay, could see the stock move to beyond 2000, 2050, 2100 is what Vikas is looking at. And Varun, Bank of Baroda, the gains continue in the PSBs. What are you observing in BOB?
Yes, Mubina. So, lenders are seeking to purchase 5,600 crores of loans from 7 NBFCs, and they're also extending around 3,500 crores towards agri-finance. Now, the bank is in talks with non-banks for asset purchased under the direct assignment route. PSB's capital woes seem to no longer be a concern or overhang. They can take on a little more risk, less aversion to troubled HFCs and NBFCs going forward. So the total corpus allocated is 10,000 crores for acquisition of loans from NBFCs. This is the beginning of PSB's acceleration in picking up exposure to troubled NBFCs account, which was what was intended by the recap. So all in all, going according to plan, I'd say.
BOB 2.6% higher. Ashok Leyland is another stock that continues its gaining momentum. A nice bounce in this one from those levels of sub 60 rupees. Now it's in fact at 67. The third straight day that we are seeing a rally come by in the stock price. Yes, there was certain announcements from the finance ministry that were positive, but I mean, maybe the street expected more, and hence you did see that divergent trend yesterday in the auto space, because while the PV-focused guys did not really gain, you did have an Ashok Leyland that was standing out today as well, gaining. It's at the highest level in 4 weeks at this point of 67 rupees. Hemain, another stock that's showing a bounce is some of these SFB guys, and that's Ujjivan being one of them. Your view here?
I would say a hold once again, as the market has done. 15% bounce in 4 trading sessions. Stop loss 285, closing point of view, target 305. There is resistance from the previous swing high at 295. A close above that after a small correction. Further upside seems to be on the cards for me.
Okay. All right. On that note, we are completely out of time. So Vikas, as well as Hemain, thank you for joining us, sharing your technical stock recommendations. Soumya, Varun, to you as well. To take forward all the market action, Markets at Noon is coming up.